Elizabeth, you've had an unusual path into this work, from anthropology and time at UCSF School of Medicine to a master's in classical archaeology, now leading home care across San Francisco and Maryland. What drew you to caring for people as they age?
I guess this is my third career. It's actually very sort of roundabout. Loved medical school, but it was very difficult. I got to the end of the fourth year and I wasn't allowed to graduate. My scores weren't good enough. So that was actually quite a traumatic experience that I was dealing with for a couple of years. I decided to go away from medicine altogether as a result of that. So that's when I started this different career in archaeology and art history. And I wanted to teach and I get my PhD, and that was what I was pursuing. Then I hit another roadblock when I was suddenly going through a divorce and needed to find a full-time job and was having difficulty finding work. But at the same time, I was helping a friend of mine take care of her husband who had Parkinson's disease. And I realized how much I enjoyed helping him and how sort of therapeutic that was at a really tumultuous time in my life, really kind of dark time. So I decided, well, I'm going to apply to be a caregiver at some of the agencies in San Francisco and see if I can get work there. And then, at least I'll get something to start. So when I went to apply, I was offered a care management job. And that was the first care management job I had in home care. And from there, I've stayed. This is my third agency. So that's kind of the roundabout way that I got into it. But I really do draw on my background, my understanding of medicine and people and art and everything that makes a human being whole and adds to their well-being every day. And that all goes back to, I think, my educational background, both in medicine and in archaeology and art history and just studying people.
Thanks for sharing this in a very genuine way. So most people never see what a care director actually does. Could you walk us through a typical week and the kind of things that land on your desk that families do not even realize are happening?
It's almost like there isn't a typical week. All of us in the office are trying to smooth out and organize chaos, basically. So my job in general is I'm the primary contact for all clients from the time they first contact our agency, going through the assessment period. And then when we create a care plan together and start staffing, and then the whole time that they're with our agency, I'm the primary contact. So I give them updates about schedules, let them know any caregivers running late or when there's a call off and what we're going to do for replacements. When they have a problem or a complaint, I talk to them. I do quality assurance visits, send them all the schedule updates. So that's basically what my job is. And then there are hundreds of different things I do every day myself and with the staffing manager, hiring specialists, business development specialists, so that we can all work together to sort of keep this ship moving. It's incredibly busy. Communication never stops. We text, we email. I have three phones. Sometimes the three phones are going off at once and somebody's walking in the door. And I have two documents I'm working on and an email I stop so I could pick up the first phone call and the second phone rings. And then, so it's very, very busy. We try to follow through on every piece of communication. We never drop the ball with that, which makes things stressful at times. Sometimes it feels like things are closing in on us from every side, and we learn to prioritize because something might happen. We might get a phone call or a text where it's an urgent issue. I have to drop what I'm doing. I already dropped two other things to do the current thing. So it's a lot of prioritizing, a lot of notes. My coworkers and I sometimes compare our notes because it's how you survive. Then you've got to go back at the end of the day to the things that you were working on before you started dealing with the urgent issues. It's a lot of family dynamics. I think a lot of psychology, compassion, stopping to listen to people. That includes caregivers. We're an employment agency as much as we're, providing a service to clients. That's probably about half of what we do. That's my part. But the other half of what we do is we're an employment agency for caregivers. So we need to help them problem solve, support them as much as we can, give them training as much as we can, check in with them so that they're happy and they stay with us and they're able to work well with our clients. So it's a lot of work, a lot of people skills.
Would you say that's the more challenging part, managing caregivers at this point?
You know what? I'd say they're about equal, working with clients and their loved ones, their families. Just like in any population, you have some people who need more of your time, who have more complex issues. It's the same with the caregivers. Some of them need more of our time. They have complex lives, and we're trying to work with them as best we can to support them and help them, to get to work, solve transportation issues, solve scheduling issues. And one of the difficulties is we accept all lengths of shifts. So anywhere from an hour and a half all the way up to 24-hour and live-in care. And we're trying to plug caregivers into those shifts based on what they're asking for as well. So some of them only want nighttime shifts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Others can work all weekends. Some only want short shifts Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so it's a huge puzzle that the staffing manager is trying to put together. I work closely with her, and then I'm the primary contact with clients, trying to solve their problems, issues that arise, trying to reassure them that we're always doing our best. It may take a little bit of time, but we're trying to solve their problem.
A theme that keeps coming up on this show is how much happens between caregiver and family visits when there's no professional or family member in the room and the family is left guessing. So you're sending caregivers into exactly those hours. What do they notice that families maybe tend to miss, or some early signs of decline that families also miss?
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about what I do, having a medical background. During my medical training, one of the things that we were told is an issue that comes up in medicine is when patients come in, doctors give, their orders, prescribed medications. Then after that patient leaves, especially if they're somebody who's older and has cognitive issues and they're not really sure about their housing situation and their transportation and all that, how do those people even get their medications? How do you know that they're taking them regularly? How do you know that they're eating, that they're staying hydrated, that they're safe at home? All of those things directly affect somebody's medical health, but doctors really don't have much control over that. So that's where our caregivers are working. They're in that sort of gap in care at the home. And yes, often with a lot of our families, our clients' adult children either don't live nearby or they're just so busy with their own families and working that they don't see what goes on in that period of time. So our caregivers are in there to make sure that our clients take their medications, that they're eating regularly so they maintain their weight, so that they don't develop weakness and dizziness and fall. Make sure they're hydrated, check that they're clean, that they're wearing clean clothes, for people with advanced dementia to prevent them from leaving the house and going out where they could be in danger or could even get lost. So it's really interesting. Our caregivers are the people who are seeing things and getting to know their clients in a way that sometimes none of their family is able to, and their doctors are not able to. So it is a really interesting position, and it's crucial to our clients' well-being that they have caregivers there monitoring them.
This show is called Aging, Growing, and I wonder, what does growing look like for the people that you care for and for you in doing this work?
Yeah, I think growth for our clients and their families is accepting and hopefully embracing a new normal, being flexible to what it means to be independent and to live well. Often I tell my clients, so what if you need someone to make sure you can safely walk from room to room? So what if you need someone to help you with showers or to get dressed? But the caregiver makes sure you still do the activities that you love, reading the paper, going out for coffee, going to the park for a walk. And so I think growth is in accepting the care, but accepting that the care is going to maintain the most important parts of your life, your inner core of who you are and what you enjoy doing with your life. And it's just a new normal. It's not a loss. I try to tell my families this is just a new normal for your parent, that they need some help. And, it's a complex place to be for family members. So I don't want to make it seem like it's that simple for them to accept and be okay with their family member who has dementia and everything that is involved in that. But I really try to hold firm that we're positive about it. We're here to help. And our caregivers are okay with your family member not remembering things and needing, some help.